Lying to Congress is a federal crime. In 2024, Dr. Anthony Fauci stated under oath that he had zero involvement with intelligence officials regarding the origins of COVID-19. On June 18, 2026, the Director of National Intelligence declassified a trove of internal documents that provide a different timeline of events. Director Tulsi Gabbard authorized the release of these previously top-secret communications and whistleblower testimonies following an intensive review by the ODNI. The documents describe a coordinated effort involving multiple agencies to suppress the lab leak theory and protect American-funded research. This declassification shifts the lab leak debate from a clash of theories into an investigation of how the government managed the narrative. The financial records within the National Institute of Virology and Infectious Diseases provide a starting point for understanding why this narrative was so tightly controlled. Under Dr. Fauci, taxpayer grants were routed through the NIAID to an intermediary organization, the EcoHealth Alliance. This funding was then directed to the Wuhan Institute of Virology to support gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses. The 2026 ODNI release explicitly names this specific research at the Wuhan lab as a catalyst for the global pandemic. Whistleblower reports cited in the Senate indicate the virus originated as a recombinant bat vaccine precursor created by the EcoHealth program at this facility. This direct funding trail suggests the U.S. health apparatus had a clear incentive to distance itself from any findings that implicated the Wuhan laboratory. Dr. Fauci's influence reached into the intelligence community, where declassified records show he had maintained deep professional relationships since 2003. The uncovered documents indicate these ties were used to influence the analytical process and suppress findings regarding a laboratory incident. CIA Senior Operations Officer and whistleblower James Erdman testified that analysts who challenged the established narrative saw their careers derailed. Records show a coordinated intelligence community effort to punish those pointing toward a laboratory origin. By utilizing strict intelligence hierarchies, these dissenting analytical voices were aggressively silenced before their findings could reach a public audience. Shaping public perception required an external scientific consensus, which arrived in March 2020 with the Proximal Origin paper published in Nature. Media and public health officials used this authoritative paper to dismiss the lab leak theory. The declassified files allege that Dr. Fauci himself prompted this publication to prioritize the zoonotic origin theory over the laboratory leak model. Internal intelligence assessments showed a high probability of a laboratory incident, even as the animal origin story was pushed to the public. These records suggest the Nature paper was utilized to direct public attention away from the evidence of a laboratory incident. These revelations bring the focus back to the testimony Dr. Fauci delivered to Congress in 2024. At that hearing, Fauci denied having any knowledge of private discussions with intelligence officials aimed at shaping the origin narrative. The ODNI asserts that newly uncovered email correspondence directly conflicts with that testimony, indicating that lawmakers were misled. Director Gabbard stated that the release of these files is a necessary step toward addressing an institutional pattern of censorship. The fallout from this release raises questions about scientific accountability and government transparency that are only beginning to be addressed. The ODNI files represent a shift in the demand for accountability regarding the pandemic's origins. Does this evidence change your perspective on the investigation? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to follow this investigation as more documents are released.